Yeah, and this week I'm absolutely delighted that we've got something a little bit different. We've got Emma Armstrong, who's a player with the South Lakes hockey team, and she's also in charge of all the social media stuff that goes on there. How are you doing, Emma?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's nice to have a different sport to talk about. We're usually into rugby and football, you know, the normal stuff, but yeah, so it's great to have a chat about hockey. So, South Lakes hockey team, then, Emma, just give us a little bit of a brief history and how long you've been there and where you play at, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, I'm sure some people listen to this who used to play for South Lakes a long time ago, but might correct me on some of these. I've been playing for the squad for about 13 years now. And when I first joined the team, it was actually known as GSK because we were sponsored by Glaxo. We were to do with those guys, and we lost that link a couple of years ago and became South Lakes. I'm pretty sure before we were GSK. I hope I'm getting this right. I'm pretty sure we were linked with Vickerstown. So we've been a club for a long period of time. But yeah, been known more recently as South Lakes Hockey Club. And at the moment, we've got a men's team and a women's team. And we also have a junior training session that goes on as well, where we're trying to feed those junior hockey players into hopefully training them up to be in the adult squads when they're a little bit older. So yeah, we've been established for a long time, and we train down at Ulverston AstroTurf pitch. Every Wednesday night, the adult team. So both the women's and the men's team are on the same night. So we train at 7:30 till 9:00. And the women's train separately to the men. So the women have half the pitch, the men have half the pitch, and we do our training separately. And we also have our junior training session, and the junior training session is on a Sunday morning, 10:30 till 11:30, which is run by our coaches. We have ages 5 to 14, all abilities, and it's just a nice opportunity to get some of the younger players through, maybe trying a sport they've not tried before, not been able to play. And developing their confidence and their skills in the game of hockey. So, yeah, like you said, it's nice that because we hear a lot about football and rugby, but you don't hear loads about hockey. So it's nice to be able to come on and promote our sport a little bit, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously it comes to prominence a little bit, doesn't it, Emma, in the Olympics? And that's when the British public tend to get the sort of only viewing of hockey in many ways. And obviously Sam Quek, who got an Olympic gold medal as I think she was a goalkeeper. Is that right?
No, she wasn't. No, Maddie Hinch was the goalkeeper. She was an outfield player.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, she's that's it. That's when it's on the telly. That's when you get to see the hockey, isn't it? Is when it's in the Olympics, which as a hockey player myself is a little bit frustrating that it's not on as often. You know, it's not on that mainstream media. But when the Olympics comes around, absolutely love it because you get to watch that hockey at that high level. And we in the 2012 we came away with the bronze medal, the women's team, and then the women managed to win the gold in 2016 in Rio. And it was, I remember watching that. It was absolutely awesome game. Went down to penalties. It was unreal. And we had quite a big influx of people joining the club after that. I think being inspired by the Olympics and seeing it on the telly and seeing the success that we had, we did have people starting to come in and try something new. And that's kind of what we're hoping to do this summer, really, is just sort of promote the game again and get people thinking and realising that it's out there and just either rekindling the love of the sport, but we get people that come along that have done it a lot at school and then they've left school and then they've not played it again, you know. So that's absolutely fine. But, you know, it's great to have people picking the sport up again. Or some people that never. When I joined the hockey team 13 years ago, I wasn't a hockey player. I was actually a football player. You tend to find that football players make good hockey players. So it was a completely new sport to me, but absolutely fell in love with it, and you know, still playing it 13 years later. So, it's like I said, you do, and we've also got the Commonwealth. The tickets have just gone on sale today, haven't they, for the Commonwealth?
All right, in Birmingham.
In Birmingham for 2022. So, I know because I've been scrolling, looking at when all the hockey games are on. So, it's you know, we're seeing it more and more in the media at the moment, and it'd just be great to try and promote it and get people coming down to our club.
Yeah, and I was going to say the fact that Sam Quek, she did get a role presenting the Olympics with Dan Walker.
And she did.
She's also got the gig now on Question of Sport with Paddy McGuinness. So
Yeah.
That's good for the profile of hockey, isn't it? You know.
Oh, massively. Yeah, she's done. Like that was off the back of the gold. I think that was in after they went to Rio. She did the I'm a Celebrity, didn't she? She was in that, and then so again talking about hockey, getting that out there in into the media, and then now to have that, like you said, those key roles, people are starting to hear a little bit more about it because it's such a big sport for our country. But just and not necessarily played loads in this area. I tend to find it because Ulverston's got the AstroTurf pitch. You tend to find people play a lot more sort of there, but maybe Barrow and Dalton area, people don't necessarily know that it's available because we haven't got that AstroTurf pitch in Barrow and Dalton. But so I'm just trying to get the word out there, really, that we're only down the road, and it'd be great to have some more people coming along.
So I was quite interested there, Emma, that you said that you used to play football. So
yeah.
So now that you're playing hockey, what's the biggest difference?
The stick. No, but that, yeah.
Apart from the obvious.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, you tend to find that good football players make good hockey players because the game is so similar. It's 11-a-side. You tend to have the same sort of formations that are played. Your wingers in football make good wingers in hockey. The main difference is that in football, I tend to find is that in football, obviously the ball can be lifted and crossed across the pitch a lot easier, whereas in hockey it tends to stay a lot lower. You can do aerials, but it's quite high. It's quite hard to do, and you don't get them very often. So the ball has to be played around on the floor a lot more. So you've got to think about it a bit more. I think it's got to be played. It's faster as well. It's a much faster game because the ball rolls so quickly over the pitch. And also as well, it's a lot harder, the hockey ball. So you've got that element to it as well, which I kind of like. I quite like the thrill of that. But it's like I said, it's similar in terms of the gameplay, but then you've got the skill of learning to use the stick and the dribbling and that sort of stuff as well. So yeah.
And that must take a few years to transition from football and then having to use a stick. I mean, which is the biggest difference, obviously, but that must take years to get used to that.
It's not too bad actually. It depends on again. It depends on how much people have done. All right, and how much people have played before. But like we've got some really good coaches down at the team. People tend to take it. We've got a few different coaches actually. You don't always have the same coach. And they can do wonders. I've learned so much from the people in our squad, and again, not just necessarily the coaches, but we've got people that have been playing hockey pretty much all their lives. They've got that experience, and they're such a good sort of friendly bunch that they'll just, even now, I'm still learning stuff. I'm still speaking to my friends about what they can do, and they're teaching me how to do different shots and stuff that I'm still learning about, and it's an ongoing process really. But It is different, and it is strange at first. If you've never played hockey, you never picked up that hockey stick, it is a bit of a weird one. But it doesn't take long to settle into it. And I do think it's because they're really good at helping you out.
I mean, I've noticed watching a little bit of hockey in the Olympics, Emma, that all you got to do is sort of touch somebody in the penalty area, and that you get a penalty corner sort of thing. You think, why have you given that?
Hey, I still say that. What was that for? The rules are a little. I do find them a little bit more technical to get your head around, but it's a bit stricter, I'd say, than football. I think it's quite. There's that non-contact rule as well. The ball's not allowed to touch the opponent's feet, so you've got to make sure you get your feet out of the way. So sometimes it can just be something as simple as it just touching the edge of the shoe, and they've given a penalty for it, particularly in the D. So yeah, and that I do find in football there's a little bit of, especially at grassroots level, it's sort of from my experience of playing, it's not too bad in terms of they say you can tend to argue with the referee a bit. So what was that for? And they can put the point across, but it's kind of you can't do that in hockey. It's a bit stricter. You've got to make sure that you've been given a penalty. You take it. You put your head down. You walk away. And yes sir, no sir. 3 bags full sir. You don't argue with the umpire. Which I like. I think that's right. So.
And I can imagine that like a halftime team talk might be a little bit different. I mean, football, rugby, it's come on, let's get smashed into them. Hockey's a bit more, isn't it? A bit more subtle, maybe. I mean, have you noticed the difference there in the way that the talks take place?
Yeah, they can still be as aggressive, but it's definitely more tactical. It's definitely a more tactical game. So yeah, there is that difference, because if you like I said, it's strict. The umpires are strict on that, and because they have to be. You've got sticks. They've got a hard hockey ball. It's got to be ruled with an iron fist. So, but no, it's usually pretty tactical team talk. That compared to, well, yeah, I suppose football is as well. It's been a long time since I've played football, but
and me. So it's the all-weather pitch at Ulverston. Is that the one near the leisure centre? Is it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's it. Opposite the old farmhouse pub there.
Yeah. So that's handy, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, great for after matches and things. But yeah, so it's the AstroTurf pitch down there. Have changing rooms and stuff, and toilets and all the rest of it. And yeah, if anybody did want to come along, like I said, we're sort of super welcoming to having more people coming down. We want to see some new fresh faces coming down. And if they did want to, we're saying that the first session's free, so they can just come and have a go, just try it and see what they think. If they haven't got any equipment, so they haven't got a hockey stick, for example, that's fine. If you just come and let us know beforehand, we can have a stick sorted out for them so they can give it a go as well. Sometimes it's about trying these things first, isn't it? So we want to make sure that people have a go. And then after that, if you come down, and I'm sure you'll be sold after the first session, but if you want to keep coming back, then it's just £3 a training session for the adults, and for the juniors it's £2 a session, there you go. So yeah.
Now it is AstroTurf all weather. Do you actually play any games on grass, or is that old fashioned?
Yeah, that's sort of old school hockey. We did used to do quite a few grass tournaments, which I loved. I love the grass tournaments, but we haven't done them for a number of years now. So it does tend to be, it's all just your all weather pitches, your AstroTurf pitches that you play on. And the top end sport, the top end hockey, they play on water based pitches, so they're even more technical, and the ball goes even faster on the water based pitches. But ours are the AstroTurf that's like sand based. All
right. So talking about the leagues, then let's just look at the ladies' game then, Emma. What league are you in?
So they've had a big shifty around of the leagues this year, but we did well a couple of years ago. We used to just play in the Cumbria League, so we only played Cumbria teams. And then we got promoted. We won that league, and we've managed to stay up there. And we're now playing in the North Division 2 league. So we play a couple of Cumbrian teams in it. So we do still play a couple of Cumbrian teams, but we go down and play people down in like Preston and Formby, and we've played some Liverpool teams as well. So it's a bit more varied now. So yeah, we're in the North Division 2 league.
And how many teams are in that league then?
Oh, good question, because they've had a good shifty around. I have a feeling there was approximately about 10 teams last year. I would have to have a little look at what it looks like this year. So, but it was...
So you're playing 18 sort of games, 9 at home?
Oh, yeah, we play
away,
right through from September all the way through to usually the back end of March, and we usually have a game every Saturday.
All right, so it's a winter thing, this,
Yeah, and that's the one.
And have you started this season yet?
No, we're going to be starting. I think I've got our first game. I think it's either next week or the week after. So they've just, like I said, they've had a bit of a shifty round of the leagues this year. So we're still just waiting on the confirmation of that. But it will be. It's imminent. We've got our first game coming soon, anyway.
And are you the only club in the Furness area? I remember from the old days, Vickers Sports Club used to have a team, which is now Hawcourt Park, and so have they not got a team anymore?
No, so it used to be. Like I said, I don't know that far, but from when I started, there was always a team. But there's us, the South Lakes Hockey Club. There's another team in Ulverston, which is Ulverston Hockey Club, and there's also there used to be a team in Barrow, but they ended up joining because they lost the AstroTurf pitch. If you remember, the AstroTurf pitch is now Pulse. It was turned into the 3D pitches, so they lost their space. So they ended up merging with the Ulverston team. So there's just two teams in our area at the moment. There's us, South Lakes Hockey Club, and Ulverston Hockey Club. So yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So just winding the clock back a little bit, then. I mean, we've come through this dreadful COVID situation. So what impact did COVID have on your club and the way that it was sort of functioning or not?
Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose like any of the sports clubs, really, we were absolutely devastated when that sort of hit and we couldn't train and come together as a team anymore. I mean, for me, I've said it to, I'm a teacher as well, so I say it to the students in my school, you know, my hockey team, they're not just my team, they're my hockey family. So the fact that I wasn't being able to see them on a regular basis like I was doing was quite tough, and I'm sure that was for many people who play team sports. But we did, you know, as a team, we kept in touch. We had weekly Zoom quizzes and meetings, and sort of kept each other and looked after each other. But it was just quite tough in terms of not being able to actually come together to play. And it's now a fact where we're sort of starting in September, and some of us haven't picked up a stick for what feels like a year, so it's feeling a little bit rusty. And trying to, some people have managed to do a little bit, but some of us are just sort of starting back again, and it's just about trying to sort of not feel as rusty as we were really, and get back into the swing of things.
So these games that are coming up that you've mentioned, are these the first games for like 18 months?
Yeah, we tried last year. So they tried last September to try and get the games up and running. But because of the way that you know how it was, different cities were put in different like zones, weren't like different lockdowns, and so many of our games were played in like Liverpool area, which were in like a quite hard lockdown. We couldn't play them, so in the end, the league just couldn't happen. So they did try. I think we played one game out of the whole league. So in the end, it just sort of crumbled really, because we couldn't play. And then we went into that big lockdown after Christmas, didn't we? So the games couldn't happen then either. So no, we didn't play. So we managed to just squeeze the end of our league in before the first lockdown back in that March. We just sort of squeezed that in, and then after that we haven't played since. We haven't played a proper game really.
Yeah, I did see, Emma, that there was quite a lot of rules and regulations surrounding what you could and couldn't do with regard to the COVID situation. Do those rules still apply in these games that are going to come up?
Yeah, I mean, we're still, like I said, we've got a COVID officer, so we have got somebody in the club that sort of looks after all of that. So if anybody is concerned or worried about that side of things, we have got a protocol for that. We did have a COVID policy last year when we were training under sort of the stricter guidance. Things have started to relax a little bit more now. So it's not as strict as it was. But I'm not too sure in terms of the actual games themselves, because we haven't had one yet. So we'll have to let you know on that one. I don't. But as far as I know, at the moment we're back to hopefully how it was.
So you've got a men's team as well, is that correct?
We have. That's true. Yeah. They're in North Division 3. Cracking bunch of lads. They have a really good number down at training. Actually, the men's squad.
Oh, right.
Really, really good coaches down there. They have regular training sessions every Wednesday, and a really, really good bunch of lads. And so again, if there's anybody out there that's wanting to try a bit of hockey, I think it's so often associated with the girls, particularly in schools, that it'd be nice to try and get some more fellas down.
And what about the kids then, Emma? How many of those turn up every week?
Well, it's the first one, so we haven't seen them in so long, but we do get a really, really good turnout. So we usually end up managing to split it off into sort of two groups as well, because we've got such a big age range. So the little 5-year-olds all the way up to the 14-year-olds, we managed to split them off into two sides as well. So we have like the older group of kids, and then we have the younger kids as well. Who are still so the 5-year-olds aren't playing against the 14-year-olds. It's a little bit fairer than that. But yeah, we've had a really good turnout for that. So we've had, in the past I'd say 20, 30 kids come down to those training sessions, and we usually have a number of not just one coach, we have a number of coaches and split them off into smaller groups, and they absolutely love it. They have a great time. So yeah.
And what do they do? Bring their own little stick?
Yeah, some of them have sticks. Yeah, most of them have their own stick. But again, we have loads of spurs. So if they don't have their own, we've got them and they can borrow them. And we just teach them the basics really. So everything from being able to pass the ball and receive it, to dribbling with it, all the way up to as they get better, up to like gameplay and tactics and different rules and things, because there's so many rules to get your head around as well. So they usually have a particular focus each week and really focus on that within the session. And they just sort of build it up over time. But it's absolutely really great atmosphere down there. I love going down on a Sunday and seeing them all playing and trying to help out. So yeah, it's good.
Now, you've mentioned you played football, Emma, and I'm just now intrigued into the sort of training regimes. So, I mean, Well, I'm ignorant. I'm thinking, well, how do you train for hockey? Yeah, you can have a game on a pitch, but how fit do you have to be physically? Is there a training regime? Have you got to be careful what you eat? And you know what I mean? Is it
I mean,
as
I suppose it depends on the level that you're at. For us, our sort of training sessions, we do try and we used to have a little, for the women's team. I know, for example, we've had little WhatsApp groups before to try and encourage us to get our fitness and do our training together. We used to do regular fitness sessions as well. I've had sessions with the hockey club over on the sand dunes at on Head, doing sort of sprints. Yeah, so we have done some fitness sessions there as well. But this year it's sort of that the fitness is sort of reliant on each individual really. The sessions that we do on a Wednesday, so we do have an hour and a half, and they do seem to have like a particular structure. So we start off with a sort of steady, so we do a nice steady warm up, and then we'll go off and do some just we call it getting your eye in, so just making sure that you just some basic passing skills, receiving skills, a few little shots on goal, but all sort of some structured drills that we do, and they're the drills that we tend to do before the start of a game as well. So it just gets like a settler, gets you sort of ready, and then we tend to move on to stuff that's a little bit more sort of tactical. So looking at a lot, we do some drills where you sometimes passing right across the pitch, where you're looking at things like making sure you use the wings and passing out wide and then driving that ball back in again in front of goal. Defensive drills as well, so making sure you know how to close players down, how to set pieces. We do all kinds of different things. So there's lots of different ways you can train for it really. So again, we usually have a particular focus for each session, and then we tend to finish off once we've been hammering the skills and the tactics. We tend to finish off with a game, and we can put that into play.
And what's the pathway like in terms of getting to a higher level, maybe at county level or even national level? Is there an easy pathway, or are you guys a long way from that? You know what I mean?
No. We've had players come through that have gone on to play for county. We've got players that have gone on to play for higher than that. We've got players that have gone on to play for even captain the North of England squad. So England hockey have got a really, really good setup in terms of pathways and development. So we have county trials every year that get fed through to us through our admin team, and that's sort of put out there to potential players that might want to go and try out for the Cumbria trials. So yeah, there's usually a trial system. You go and hopefully go and make the team, and then from there you'll go and play games representing Cumbria, and then I would imagine from there you're then scouted to go and play up at a higher level. So like I said, we've had people that have gone on to go and represent the North of England and even captain the North of England team, which is pretty cool. And it's the same for the men's as well. So they do have a very similar sort of development for them. So England hockey are really good, some really good pathways there, and they've got a really good system in terms of pushing those potential players a little bit higher. So
And do you get any funding from the national sport? Does it trickle down to grassroots?
Not as much as not really. I know we have to do a lot of our own funding, and we've seeking for sponsorship and stuff like that. But at the moment, it's there for to organise competition and club structure to make sure that your club's structured the way that it should be and that it's running smoothly. But no, I don't tend to get too much funding from them. It's usually self-funded, as far as I know. I hope I'm not doing anyone injustice there.
No, so you're always looking for sponsorship then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if anyone interested in sponsoring us, just get in touch. You can either get in touch through the social media sites, or you can find us on our website. Just give us a shout. But yeah, we've had sponsors in the past, so where we've had the names printed on shirts, and we've had banners up at matches, so we can get names out there of different sponsors. So yeah, we are self-funded, so anything like that would be great.
So when do you generally play then, Emma? On a Saturday afternoon, is it? About 3 o'clock kickoff, is that?
No, well, it's Saturday, but usually about 12:30, so lunchtime kickoff normally.
Oh, right, okay.
The home game, yeah. So that tends to be what we try and aim for. So 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday at the AstroTurf.
And what sort of attendance do you get? How many people come and watch?
We've had quite a few. We used to have a bit of a following actually. Usually friends and family of the players, and the away squad tend to bring quite a few people down to watch as well. Right. It's actually quite nice as well, because if both teams are at home, so if we've got the men's game on afterwards, or or whatever, then all the men will come down early and they'll come and support the women's team, and vice versa. We'll try and go and support them as well. So you can get quite a good little following, actually, and it's always nice when you get a crowd down. Spurs you on a little bit more. So yeah.
Is it free?
What to watch? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you just have to rock up at the AstroTurf and you'll see us there playing. Just come and watch. Yeah, completely free to come and watch.
And have you got sort of headquarters where you're based? You use somewhere as for functions or something, or?
No, at the moment we're just literally based at the AstroTurf pitch. That's us there, so that's us.
Don't you go across the pub now and again, or?
Yeah, we used to. Yeah, we used to go over to the old farmhouse over the road.
Right.
They sponsor us. Not too sure. I'm sorry, not too sure what's happening with that this year, but it definitely was them last time we played. So I'm going to assume it's the same, but I'd have to clarify that one.
Right, Emma. So anyone who's listening out there to Can Do FM wants to get involved with the hockey, as you said, it's the first training session for the juniors. When's that? Is that
on Sunday? Yeah,
on
this Sunday. Yes, come along down at the AstroTurf, 10:30 to 11:30, and it's £2. Just pay as you go. And if you need any kit, if you need a stick or whatever, just come and let us know, and we can sort you out with that. But yeah, the more the merrier. So it'd be great to see some more people down.
And in terms of adults, then the size of your squads, are you looking for new players, or have you got enough people? Or
yeah, no, we're always looking for new players. So definitely, if someone's listening to this and they think, you know what, I quite fancy that, or I used to play hockey and I'd love to give that another go, please come down, come and see us. We're a really welcoming bunch. And the more the merrier. So we'd love to have some more people down. So that's on a Wednesday night. At Ulverston Astro again. Okay, from 7:30 till 9 o'clock. And again, if you've not got a stick anymore, or you just want to try it out, let us know. We've got stuff and we can lend you, and we can get you sorted on that, just to see whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the other thing that surprised me, Emma, is that you can almost be any age, can't you?
You can almost be what? Sorry.
Any age.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It doesn't matter what age you are. Just come down. Like I said, in terms of our club. Youngsters go down, and 5 to 14-year-olds go and do the juniors on a Sunday. But after that, yeah, anybody can come along to the Wednesday night training session. Yeah,
because in doing a little bit of research, as you do, I noticed that somebody played the last game. I don't know if it was last season or just before COVID came along, and were they quite old? When I mean that, I mean in the 50s and that, were they?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. That's not quite old. You've insulted some people on our team there. I don't dare say that. But,
I'm insulting myself.
Yeah, any age. Yeah, definitely. So if you're the slightly older generation, you're thinking that's not for me. Well, it could be. We have had people that are a little bit older that have been playing. We've had people that play for the Vets teams as well. So we had a gentleman that used to play for the Vets GB team. So he used to do a lot of hockey.
I think I think we had him on the show about a year ago. I think he played for England.
That's right. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he was the torchbearer when we had London 2012. I think he carried the torch through Grasmere, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a lovely guy. I can't remember his name. Can you remember his
Mr.
name?
Holden. Andy.
Andy Holden. That's it.
That's the one.
Yeah, he came into the studio about a year ago. Yeah.
Did he? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, he played for England. Yeah, he was a great guy, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and been part of the club, for years, and then to go on and play the vets squad, and like I said, I'm pretty sure he carried the torch, the Olympic torch, through Grasmere because of all of his involvement in the hockey.
Wow,
yeah, great guy.
So the ladies' first game is when, Emma, a couple of weeks?
Not next week. Yeah, I think it's not next weekend. The weekend after, and I know we're playing against Lancaster and Morecambe away, so I know that bit.
Right. So when's your first home game then? The week after that?
I think so. Yeah. It's usually one home, one away, one home. It just depends to alternate.
So if there's any listeners out there that are intrigued as to what's involved, I mean, I suppose your message is come and have a look at the game, and you never know, you might get hooked a bit like what you are, because you can tell from your expressions and that, Emma, that you're really passionate about it, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, I've 13 years. I'd never picked up a stick before then. I was absolutely sold the minute I tried it. So yeah, that's my message. If you're listening to this and you think, I quite fancy it, or I wouldn't mind giving that a go, just come and try it. I think the best thing about it is that they're just such a good bunch. Like I said, they're not just my hockey team; they're my hockey family, and they're a big part of my life. And I think that's one thing for anybody that sort of comes down and tries the sport and tries our club. That's one thing that they do say is how welcoming they all are and friendly and stuff. And I would say that's probably one of our biggest assets is just what a good bunch they are.
Oh, well, I wish you all the best in the future, Emma. It seems as if South Lakes has got a good future with people like yourself involved. And
thank you very much.
And thanks very much for coming on Can Do FM.
No, it's okay. Thank you for taking the time to let me have a chat about the club. Thank you very much.
Thank you.